everyone, it's Icy. Hope everybody is staying happy, healthy, and safe. Today, I wanted to quickly discuss a small update on the development of Pokemon Reborn, as I've made a couple videos in the past discussing it. Occasionally, I get people asking me about the state of development, and I usually link them the development blog, but for big updates like this, it's probably better to just straight up cover them, especially for the people that don't frequently visit the development blog. I also realized that this update is almost a month old, and part of the reason that I'm just now covering this is one, I've been juggling a lot of different things in life, and two, I was debating with myself on whether or not I should even cover it. It's not really your typical update, but at the same time, I do feel like it deserves to be covered and talked about. This is a pretty notable update for Reborn, in a way. And in a way, I do feel as if I owe it to the devs to talk about this update, as I may or may not have contributed to the problem slightly here. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. If you frequently check Reborn's development blog, or you have checked up on it recently, you may have noticed that the progress bars are gone. And they literally link you in the spot where the progress bars used to be to this development update. Essentially, this update has been talking about how episode 19 for Reborn has been in development for quite a while, and some people might be wondering, is the game dead? Where is it at? And those sort of things. Because obviously people can't understand that this sort of stuff takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of work. And so this is their explanation. Basically, while Ame, the lead developer of Reborn, has been working on Reborn, she's also had another project. You may or may not have heard about Starlight Divide. It actually looks really cool. It's this tactical RPG, but it's not a Pokemon game, which is something to note. In Androcast's own words, fan game development has a few advantages in that the mechanics have been laid out by Game Freak, for better or for worse, and Essentials offers a base set of tools to build the games from, for better or for worse again. In no way does this imply that developing quality content is easy, but it is still fairly simple to pick up some tools and get going. Essentially, what she's saying is that the bare essentials for making Pokemon fan games is kind of laid out there. But since this tactical RPG Starlight Divide is not a Pokemon fan game, it's a game from scratch with its own mechanics, then they have to put in extra work, and that takes time. But how does this tie into Reborn, you might ask? Well, we're getting there. Basically, the reason Starlight was an issue for them producing episode 19 is because of timing. They had a plan of development, which went something like them producing episode 19 main story, then producing the Starlight, then producing Starlight's demo release, then producing episode 19's postgame, then finally having episode 19 fully released. And they listed some of the reasons for this as being general Reborn burnout, which is understandable. If you work on something for so long, just one project for so long, you're bound to eventually get burned out on it, and you might need to take time away from it in order to get motivated and just rejuvenate yourself and get ready to work on it again. Besides that though, Ame seemed to have wanted to start a new project, and it also, their plan provides some amount of project continuality, which basically means that they wanted to be able to work on their projects and reach a certain point of their projects where they could say, okay, this is good for now, we can stop, and then we can move on to something else. And they would do the same thing with that project before moving back to say something else. Apparently though, this was a mistake. Apparently they weren't expecting the demo for Starlight to take so long. They didn't account for the development pressure of working on two games constantly, and not releasing new content for 2 years was a bit of anxiety provoking for them. Androcast then goes on to talk about the progress bars. Again, this ties into why the progress bars are missing. Apparently, the progress bars promoted a lot of discussions about the development And basically, people would see certain progress and they would see it as meaning something. And I can't even blame them because I was like that at one point. I think I saw like 60% progress and I just got hyped beyond belief. I get hyped up very, very easily. I did come down from it and then I realized, oh yeah, this is still only 60. It's going to take a bit while. But Androcast basically mentions that the progress bar numbers are made up. They're essentially estimates by Androcast on how far she thinks the game is to completion or to completing the main story or the post game and things like that. It's all an estimation. It is not calculated by some sort of computer. It's not guaranteed in any means. I realize I'm kind of guilty of that as well. Considering at one point I did make a video stating that I thought episode 19 was almost here. I did change the title like a month later when I realized I was kind of being an idiot. And I realized at this point it probably sounds really clickbaity, but that was never my intention. I was just really, really hyped up, and I think people need to kind of calm down the hype and just tone it down just a little bit. And so for that reason, the progress bars are gone, because people would often just look at them and they would take random meanings away from them. I think at the end of the day, we need to understand that these are fan game developers, and I guess game developers when you think of Starlight, and that they have lives too. You know, they have to eat, they have to sleep, they have to clean themselves, they potentially have to go to work or school. They're just like us, except they have projects and passions that they also like to work on when they have time for it. They are people just like you and me. And honestly, they're doing all of this essentially for free because they are passionate about it, because they enjoy it. So obviously we don't want to be rushing them, and we don't really want to be pressuring them either. We want this game to come out the best it can possibly can, so we don't want to really be adding any more weight to their shoulders. Again, remember that they are people just like you and me, and that things like this take time. You can't rush it, and you shouldn't rush it. So that's all I really wanted to say on that aspect. Just respect the developers of the game. On another note, she actually mentions Generation 8, which is huge. So one of their developers, Marcelo, wants to do it, but Androcast does not. Honestly, I don't know what the sides are here, but she basically says that the real version is a little bit more complicated, and that it's highly unlikely that it will not be in episode 19. And I think this was already kind of a given. Obviously, it would be a lot more work. They'd have to redo so much. It would just be insane. However, she does also go on to say that it could potentially come out after episode 19. But that's a maybe, and that it's way too soon to talk about that since a lot of things can change between now and then. But she does say that she doesn't think there would be any reason to avoid sort of a DLC styled update after the game is finished, and that there's other things that they may want to do as well too, such as maybe hard mode. And that's basically all they wanted to say. So again, I was just kind of skimming through this, covering it the best I could. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I felt that I owed it to them to sort of cover this. Thank you all for watching. I hope this helps you stay up to date with what's going on over there, and I will catch you all later. Peace.